Welcome to EVE Online. I'm Major Rick. So, it's not really a wish list because it's a bit more radical than a simple, hey CCP, this is easy to do, why don't you do it kind of thing. This is a bit more complex, as in it's going to piss off a lot of nullsec people, which I don't really care. Here's the thing. Ship maintenance bays make no sense. When you first get into capitals and you jump into an Archon, you think, great, this is going to be my suitcase to go around. And then you find out the Revelation's got the exact same ship maintenance bay. And you're like, wait, what? It's a carrier. Why? What? I know CCP's answers are, wait, it's for fighters. It's like, wow, you just don't understand English, do you? Anyway, so, just unclear on the concept. So here's my idea. Super carriers, bowheads, Archons, and DSTs. I'm assuming a variant of DST and a variant of Archon, and possibly a variant of bowhead. I prefer the bowhead to stay as the bowhead. But here's the idea. You've got 6 million in the super carrier for ship maintenance bay. You've got 4 million, 2 million max, which is, what the bowhead is now. And then we chunk it down even further for the Orca variant and the DST variant. So that's 2, and you get the Orca variant would be 1 million because it's going to have no ore hold, right? So 1 million, and then down to 500,000 for the DST variant. Now that's probably a bit too much. It would probably assume, let's say, 50,000 for the DST variant. It just doesn't make sense because doing it that way, it would make sense because now other people can access that maintenance bay and it would be helpful. It's just that it would be nice to also have a fleet hangar attached to that as well, and then balancing the current DST with the stats for the DST on the fleet hangar versus what I'm proposing, right? So it would be a tough sell for CCP to sell the idea for CCP to buff something because they want to nerf it, right? And the last thing I want to do is have the DST nerfed just to have this. I prefer to talk in another video about adding more fleet hangar sizes to variants of the DST, like bigger, like a bowhead fleet hangar kind of thing. I don't know, but this is beyond the scope of this video. This video is about fleet maintenance, and it would be nice if that was 6 million, and this was 3 million. This was 4 million, and this would be 1 million, right? So this would be 4, this would be 1, or even less. I mean, make it, well, no, it's a Titan, right? But it's got to be better. It can't be better or equal to the super carrier, right? So 6 million, how about 3 million? So 6 million, 3 million, 4 million, 1 million, or 1.5 million even. And then 2 million max on the bowhead. And then further down, it would be Orca, would be, what's a reasonable size? We'll say 100,000 for the Orca and 50,000 plus skills, of course, for the DST variant. Of course, it would have a lower, like 10K fleet hangar, or even 4K. But the fleet hangar on the Orca variant would be a bit bigger than the current Orca, right? And then likewise for the bowhead, it would have a fleet hangar, a bowhead variant, or maybe even the bowhead, give it a fleet hangar, you know? It would be nice to have variants. It would be really, really, really nice to have variants. But of course, this would need to be changed, like 1.5, 3 million, 4, and 6, right? For the maintenance bay. And yeah, I mean, better fleet hangar capacity. Like this would be 50, yay. And this would be, you know, a bit more. And this, you know, I mean, let's scale it. Let's scale it for, like, the DST would be, say, 5,000 cubic meters. Orca would be 10,000 cubic meters. Bowhead would be 20. Archon would be 40. Eon would be 60, right? 6 million, 60. It makes sense. Scale it that way. That makes sense. And none of this bullshit, oh, we're just going to have it the same. And it's like, that makes literally no sense to have the Dreadnought have the exact same as Archon. It made no sense when I first started flying carriers. And it just still doesn't make any sense. Why is this not the suitcase? Why can this be just as good as a suitcase as this one? It made zero sense. Literally zero sense. It's just, this makes no sense whatsoever. But this problem, this issue for me, never really motivated this idea. It's just one of those random ideas that comes up every once in a while, and I think about it, and it would be cool to have variants, more industrial choices, right? Because this is really an industrial choice. What originally got me on this very recently is thinking about what is your problem? Why? Okay, what the hell is your... Okay, never mind. Just gonna freaking ignore all that and just close them. I have no idea. None. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking of the... let's get the Aeon up. I was thinking... Oh, bloody hell. I was thinking of this sucker and the hardware of tactical capsule recloner, but a variant of that. An ability to... Well, no, actually, I was thinking of this exactly. It's not a capsule recloner. Well, yeah, it is kind of. It's just, I would have liked to have, like, if your ship is destroyed, you could be reshipped instantly. Still in your pod, you'd just be transported back into another ship. You were on grid with this thing, and teleported you into another ship. That's just basically the idea behind it. And of course, you obviously need the skills to, otherwise they'd be all offline and stuff. So the supercarrier pilot would need to have the smarts about him in order to do that. Could the game detect what class of ship you were destroyed in? Say, if the supercarrier had a bunch of frigates and you were in a frigate when you got destroyed, would it realize that instead of trying to put you into a battleship? And I was thinking, well, a supercarrier could reship capsuleers who are in their pod into up to including battleship, and then carriers would be able to have the same module but could only do it up to battlecruiser, and so on down the line, right? A variant of the bowhead, variant of the Orca, variant of the DST. For, you know, the latter would be frigates only, right? On grid, be able to teleport you even through bubbles into a new ship if you were on grid with it, right? Which would be interesting because you could have a industrial contributing to the battle and not just being a hauler for cap boosters that some people do, right? So it would be a new idea. And of course, could the issue of neutral bowheads dumping out ships for currently for people in high-sec war target situations, that's an issue. Would that be a problem for this? Would it have to be in alliance only, right? Like how does it work? Like currently, does this thing only work for in alliance or in corporation, right? I mean, how does it work? I mean, obviously the enemy can't do it, right? So tactical capsular recloner. Watch me bring up porn by accident. All right. Tactical capsuleer recliner. Recliner, that's hilarious. Uh, 2020, so that's almost 2 years. Fleet members. Okay, so obviously for nullsec, or I guess you can do it for lowsec too, but is there a dev blog about this? There has to be, right? Fucking hell. It's just a BS description of it. No vocals? What's going on? See, when I saw the adverts for this and the pictures, the images, and all that crap, I got the sense that you were teleported into a ship after your ship was destroyed. Obviously, it's not. Yeah, that was not helpful at all. That was less than helpful. Okay, so yeah, it would, you know, you're on grid, this thing teleports into a new ship, you know. Could you choose, if it couldn't detect what ship you were flying, you know, could you choose, or Yeah, it could totally detect. It could detect the ship you were destroyed, that you were destroyed in, and if it was a battleship class ship, right, or crew, whatever, right? So it would just go, is there a battleship class ship in the ship maintenance hangar to launch you into that ship right now? No. How about a battle cruiser? No. How about a cruiser? No. How about a destroyer? No. How about a frigate? Right? Down the line. That way, if you were destroyed and you were spawned into you had a frigate escape bay ship, and they had a battleship ready for you, you could be loaded back. Well, it wouldn't work, would it? You'd have to not have a frigate escape bay ship loaded in that battleship. You'd have to go into a pod. It would detect you're in a pod, go, all right, what ship was in kill mail? Bzz, we'll teleport you into that. If possible, we'll just downgrade it until you can, right? That was my idea. Yeah, this whole pod thing, if your pod gets destroyed, it looks like a really lame attempt to sex up the because it always was this way. Like, I don't understand. See, that's the reason I thought it was a jump into a ship, because before you had a vat clone bay, right? And you could have a clone installed in that ship. I don't think you could make it your home ship, and this makes it your home ship, right? As long as the drug lasts or whatever it's. I'm assuming it's a booster, right? Let's just confirm that, just so I don't make any misinformation stuff. Would it be simple? Probably not. I'm sure they don't. Okay. Heuristic clone mapper. Slot 65? What? 6 hours? Holy Jesus. So it's a booster, right? It's a booster, not an implant. Okay, that's fine. Slot 65, Jesus. So yeah, there you go. How much do they cost? 2 million. All right. Yeah, I mean, the idea would be that in high-sec, you could have a DST on field that would have frigates. And if you're duking it out, you could be reshipped into a frigate as soon as yours was lost, right? You could have an Orca variant on field. You could have a bowhead variant on field. It's an interesting idea. It obviously would be a high priority target, of course, but it would be heavily armored. And if logistics were on the field, it would be a hard target to kill, right? So it's an interesting idea of on-grid teleportation. And yeah, regardless of if you're on grid, you could probably get away with it even if you have bubbles all over the place. And I think that's the main problem with this currently, is that an enemy knows you're doing this stuff. They simply just don't kill pods in the bubbles. And what are the bubbles? Pods in the bubbles, they're going to have to initiate self-destruct. That's 2 minutes. You're out of the game, right? Or out of the fight, which admittedly is not too hard a pill to swallow. But you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like, this is more of a, let's have fun. This is possible. But yeah, I don't like the in-system thing. It's real cheese. I'm sure the cheese is huge that you have a Aeon at a safe, in a safe POS shield, and you're just spawning people like mad in that POS, and they've got access to ship maintenance bay hangars, this thing's maintenance bay, blah 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 blah. And in high sec, what do you got? You have 0. So it's like, why did you just think you know, to me, it just seemed like a cop out, you know, like, and I just ignored it because I was like, yeah, whatever, nullsec, yeah, nullsec, more nullsec toys for the CSM. You know, well, you understand why there's a CSM, right? It's not for public relations at all. It's a SOP to their biggest customers. And their biggest customers are pretty much denizens of 4chan, and they've turned CCP willingly, I might add, into TAI. So it's like, you know, they're gonna get the best toys to play with because reasons, you know. It's like whatever, it's the way it is. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. I thought I'd share that with you. It's definitely not a wish list because it radically transforms the game. It would be nice to have variants of industrial and have more combat, you know, conflict drivers. You know, it would be interesting. But whatever, it's just an interesting thought I had. And definitely not a wish list, and definitely not going to be in the suggestion box. It'll be in my monologue, you know. But it's an interesting idea. You know, it's nice to have these what if ideas. They make your concept of the game more rich. That you know, wonder, you know, what if yada yada yada, you know. It's not too radical a change. I'm not saying, you know, I read some of these suggestions on the forums, and it's just, you gotta roll your eyes. It's like, well, you're just gonna, yeah, recode the entire engine to make asteroids ponies or something, you know. It's like, Jesus H, you know. But yeah, I think it's a workable idea. Kind of. I'm sure there could be an obvious exploit I'm not seeing, or cheese. I'm sure I'll see it later and go, that was embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to have these ideas. Go, what if? Because I like adding new ship suggestions, especially in the non-directly combat, but related to combat. That sounds cool. Anyways, blah, blah, blah.